Manchild News presents News on the March. Star Trek Retro Playmates figures have massive, unsettling camel toe. In fact, there's easily more camel toe here than on Playboy Retro Playmates. So I'm told.
It doesn't bind, it gives in all the right places.
More news from the final frontier as the Roddenberry Archive announces their web portal of virtual bridge tours for every version of the Enterprise bridge is currently free to browse. For several years now, the archive has partnered with some company called Otoy to make weird short videos that resurrect Leonard Nimoy, for what purpose is unclear. They say they intend to create virtual tours for the full interior of every version of the Enterprise that's ever been seen.
Good luck.
Damon Lindelof, writer of the abysmal Star Trek Into Darkness, has revealed Lucasfilm asked him to leave his Star Wars film project. While he did not elaborate on what prompted Kathleen Kennedy to eject him from the franchise, he made overtures that he would not give up, saying, "If at first you don't succeed, try and try again." Or, again, try, as Yoda would say. Hey Damon, looks like you've made it obvious that you might have even less of an understanding of Star Wars than the Zeros who are managing to stay employed there. See, as a writer, you should demonstrate a basic understanding of the characters. But what you said Yoda would say is literally not what Yoda would ever say.
Do or do not. There is no try.
It's one of the most famous lines and lessons in the entire Star Wars franchise. And you blew it.
Your music's bad and you should feel bad.
Back to the toy industry, the big players are breaking down barriers, while also kicking in doors. Hasbro and Mattel, being totally out of original ideas, have formed a partnership to do mashups of their most famous brands. You know, maybe He-Man themed Monopoly games, or G.I. Joe coming home from Afghanistan, only to find Bobby has been spending too much time with some neighbor named Ken. It's gonna be great. And while G.I. Joe is kicking Ken's philandering tail, Hasbro is going after its own customers, sending Pinkerton investigators to the house of a Magic the Gathering collector because he received a new pack of cards before the street date. Despite purchasing these cards legally, he was threatened with prison, intimidated with fines, and a corporation's hired private thugs took the items back from him without legal authority or compensation. You always say you want to go back to the 1980s? Careful what you wish for, because we're fast approaching 1984, the Orwellian edition.
I don't know if you're aware, but this is a civilized land now. This thing, it's done.
This place ain't no such thing as civilized. It's man, so in love with greed, he has forgotten himself and found only appetites.
This has been Manchild News for April 2023.